You're now listening to Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing.
The Durian Heat, bringing big ideas and critical opinions in Southeast Asia.
Hello and welcome back to Durian ASEAN. You're with Gowri here today on your Thursday morning, and today on our Durian Heat we are discussing about what's happening in Kuantan at the moment. And with me here on the line I have Mr. Amlir Ayat, who is the Vice President of EcoKnights, a local NGO fighting for environment causes, to enlighten us a bit about what's happening in Kuantan at the moment. So Amlir, perhaps a little introduction to yourself first. What exactly is your role with EcoKnights?
Now I am the Vice President of EcoKnights, and at the same time I am holding the responsibility mostly in the area of capacity building and also community development projects with regards to sustainability. So what we are doing as far as my role is concerned is to try to conduct or to identify ways in how people can be involved in sustainable development, starting at the individual level.
Right, okay. And of course we have all been reading the news lately about what's happening in Kuantan, that is looking more like Mars right now with all the red sand and the Red Sea. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what is causing the sea and also the land in Kuantan to turn red.
Okay, as far as I'm concerned, my knowledge, my discussion with some other people, we all know that the mining activity has started since around December 2013. However, there have been a lot of doubts about how the procedures, the legal procedures have been complied to, and the extent of enforcement and monitoring as far as quality of environment is concerned. As a result, we see a lot of pollution when it comes to air and water. And when we talk about water, we are talking about the river water quality and also the sea, the marine water quality, and also the water which is supplied to the domestic households, i.e. the domestic water supply.
Right.
So this pollution, we believe, comes from three main sources. First, the mining activity on the ground itself. Secondly, from the lorries or the vehicles which transport the bauxite. And also, thirdly, the stockpiles which are being placed at various places, especially near the port. So when the rain comes, when the rain came about a few days ago, it was a heavy rain, so the sea turned red in a very short time as a result of, I believe, from the washout from the mining activity and also from the roads used by the vehicles transporting the materials.
And why is it that Kuantan has seen a rise in mining activities recently, like you mentioned, especially since 2013?
Okay, first, one of the contributing factors is the discovery of bauxite in the area. Bauxite in Kuantan is quite easily the deepest you can find bauxite in Kuantan, in some areas in Kuantan especially. So it's only about less than a meter below the ground. And that means that it's going to be very easy to extract the metal. And also, secondly, there is a huge demand for bauxite, which can be turned into aluminium. Now, this demand comes from mainly China. So, at that point, this bauxite was needed by China for its industry. So, this is why the industry has suddenly boomed out of nowhere.
Right.
And at the same time, due to lack of monitoring and also enforcement, the pollution has also been very disastrous.
Right. So it's not just for the local economy when it comes to bauxite mining. It's also plays an important role in exporting to other countries outside Malaysia.
Yes.
So, yeah, but then again, we have imposed, of course, our Minister of Environment and Natural Resources imposed a 3-month ban on all mining activities right now in Kuantan. Is that going to affect the industry, you think, for 3 months?
Okay, based on my observation and also discussions with a lot of people who know the situation, either locally or not, I believe that it's going to take 3 months, more than 3 months, to clear the situation.
Right.
We're not talking about that now. The 3-month moratorium on the activity only refers first to the stopping of the activities in the mining at the ground, and also the clearance of the stockpiles at the port. Now, this does not include other issues, other challenges, for example, the cleaning of the areas, of the roads, of the and also having a plan, a very good and effective plan to avoid, to inhibit the past problems that we faced. Now, this is very important because even if we stop and for 3 months and then begin the activity in, let's say, I assume in April, the problem would still continue if this is not taken care of. Now, these 3 months, if there's going to be, let's say, whatever time it is, 3 months or 6 months, first there should be, of course, a quick rehabilitation of the area. The area should be cleaned up, not only the stockpiles, the river and the sea, which is a very important source of economy for the locals, but there needs to be a very intensive and effective and efficient process of stakeholder consultation, meaning taking into account all the concerns and viewpoints of the people affected and also affected by the project. They should sit down together and discuss what is the next step, what can be done or what should not be done. This is very important, and this is not going to take 3 months. We need to find a good time frame to design a plan which could ensure that not only the pollution does not occur again, but also the enforcement and monitoring, especially the environmental monitoring, is taken care of. So I believe that 3 month moratorium is not going to be that effective in solving the problem right now.
Right.
We have to look deeper into the roots or the causes of the problem.
And speaking of the 3-month ban as well, like you mentioned, it's definitely not enough for concrete actions. Maybe it's just like a damage control. It works as a temporary measure for the situation in Pahang right now. But in order to really solve the problem, because people are having skin diseases, respiratory problems, because this is also a matter of air pollution. But going back to the root of problem, even the sea itself is already proclaimed dead, and it will be for the next 3 years. So how far do you think this damage has been done when it comes to the marine ecology?
Okay, once you affect the ecology of the sea or the water, especially in this situation, it's going to be very difficult, almost impossible to return to the normal situation. What we can do is to do as much as possible to enable the river and also the other components of ecosystem to function like before. It's going to be very difficult. If you know what is ecology is like the sea. The marine ecology, for example, is something which has been developed for millions of years. And this is what developed the ability to provide the locals with the marine produce. Now, when you affect even 2 or 3 species in the chain, in the ecology, the whole system will be affected. You're not talking only about the fish which are dead. You're talking about the entire system. Even if you take an example of what the river water. The river water has been proven to be contaminated by certain heavy metals, for example, aluminium and also lead. Now, how long is it necessary to clean this river up? Even when the water has been treated and supplied to the public through the water treatment system, which we have in various areas in Kuantan, the water is still contaminated by some of these metals. This is another issue that I would like to highlight. It's very important for us to look at all these issues prudently and carefully, with a concern about the people's survival. We are not talking about the air pollution. We are talking about something which is being drank by people every day. Every day, if you drink 2 liters of water, and in this water you have few milligrams of heavy metals, you imagine what had happened after 3 years since the mining activity has been taken. This is something that we have to take care of. Laws are made to be enforced for the sake of people. What is the use of these people making laws in Parliament or the state council and then not being enforced, not being complied to?
Right.
It's a waste of time. We need to look into this carefully, and 3 months is not enough.
And do you feel like at the rate that this is going, we're actually putting more importance on the economic value rather than the people's actual health in Pahang?
Yes, I think this is all because of economy, and it seems that, as my friend said, greed had sacrificed the lives of some people over there. Even today, somebody sent me a news about another death of related to the bauxite activity. I'm not really sure what it's all about, but then it has shown us that our greed for wealth had overridden our concern for our survival and the environmental quality. I'm not talking about environment per se. When I say we need to protect the environment, it's because we need the environment to survive. We are protecting the environment because we need the environment, not because just to protect the environment.
And also, speaking about the livelihood of the people, obviously, right now the sea is considered that it's beyond consumption at this point. So what is it like for the fishermen? Can they still go out to the sea? Is it safe for them? What are they going to do?
Okay, based on my discussion with a friend from Kuantan, from Pahang, he said that the people still go out to the sea because they have no other choice, but they have to go further up. Now, before this problem, they may only have to go, let's say, 10 nautical miles further to the sea. But now they have to go further up, even 20 nautical miles to find clean fish. Because some of these fish are not only for them to sell, but also for their own consumption. So they have to be very, very careful. And a lot of these people do not want to sell fish just because they are fish, but they want to sell clean fish, fresh fish. They don't want, because right now, a lot of people are concerned about the quality of fish coming from Kuantan.
Definitely.
So even if they find fish further up in clean water, people will still be worried about whether this fish is good to eat, is safe to eat or not. So, and I'm also concerned about like I said before, the public water supply. There needs to be a thorough, they need to explore the possibility of trying their best to improve the water being supplied to the public, because if this continues, then the public will be affected, and perhaps, like in Selangor, maybe they have to shut down the water treatment plants temporarily until the problem has been resolved.
Right. So we are going to take a short break. When we come back, we will talk more about what has been done so far to rectify the situation in Kuantan.
The Durian Heat, bringing big ideas and critical opinions in Southeast Asia.
Welcome back to Durian ASEAN. You're still with Gowri here today on your Durian Heat this Thursday morning. And with me on the line is Amlir, Ayat, the Vice President of EcoKnights, who is discussing with us about what's going on in Kuantan and also with the bauxite mining right now. So we discussed a lot about the effects of bauxite mining earlier, and maybe for this part, maybe Amlir, you can tell us what has been done so far by the authorities' side to actually curb this problem, apart from the 3-month moratorium that was imposed.
As far as I know, there has been no effective or efficient actions taken by the authorities either at the federal or the state level. I know there have been some issues about enforcement, but it seems that according to some people, the enforcement has not been the priority or has not been taken due to some bureaucratic or political reason. Now, this is a very major concern to me because when we talk about environment, you cannot sacrifice anything, even if it comes to economic goods. Economy must be seen as something which improves the life of people, of everybody, not just certain quarters of the people. And when economic activities seem to override the survival of the people, then it should be stopped and other options should be taken. This is what I believe is happening in Kuantan at the moment. Now, there are some NGOs which have taken the issue to the front, for example, PEKA and also the movement called GERAM. And I believe GERAM. So I believe that their actions have to some extent affect the issue, affect the solution of the problems in some positive ways.
Right.
And I would like to congratulate these people who have taken actions to do the best as they can to improve the situation.
Right. And also there is an article that I read that said even if the government does interfere, they have certain limitations when it comes to the land policies of certain states. So can they really do much about this when you talk about government interference?
Yes, I think you're referring to the fact that land matters are under state government.
That's right.
Yeah, land, water. So, in this case, there are certain issues which the federal government can take action on. It's not just a state issue. Even if it's a state issue, there are some things which can be resolved by using the state enactments or state regulations. What is happening is not a reflection of the compliance to even the state enactments or state regulations. This is a non-compliance to both federal and state. So I believe that if the issues are taken and resolved even through, even using the state law, it is something which is possible. And the people have been, I know some people over there are trying to use this venue to face these challenges. Some provisions of federal laws, for example, the Environmental Quality Act, can be applied there to solve the problem or to manage the issue and where enforcement can be applied.
And speaking of that as well, there must be some laws or policies already in place when it comes to regulating the miners, but seems that there has also been an influx of illegal bauxite mining. What went wrong over there? Were they not aware of the kind of laws in place, or people just shutting one eye and letting it happen?
It's more related to the lack of enforcement. Like I said earlier, enforcement is something which is not being taken seriously over there. So there is no surprise that you have these illegal activities going on there. A lot of people know that a lot of activities there are illegal. For example,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of polluting the environment, but also the unlicensed bauxite
Right.
miners. So this is something that has to be taken care of, at least for me, during this 3-month moratorium. Not just cleaning up the stockpiles, but also trying to clean up the illegal activities concerning the environment
Right.
and also concerning the licensing.
And going back to the people in Kuantan at the moment, of course, there's been a lot of news about how they're having skin irritations and certain health problems. Is it actually safe for them to still remain in Kuantan, or should they, by right, be moved to a different location?
Okay, this is a very difficult question because I don't have enough scientific data to prove anything yet. But as far as I know, a lot of people have left Kuantan and moved somewhere else. A lot of houses have been vacant because their areas have been literally infested with lorries carrying bauxite and also the remnants or the soil being contaminated, the roads being polluted by the bauxite and the soil and the dust during it being blown by the wind.
Yes.
A lot of workshops or shops have been closed down because of the problem. So even looking at the situation, you know that it is not safe to be there.
Right.
The water is contaminated. So, but I'm not going to. It's difficult for me to tell people to leave the area because it's not easy for them to leave their hometown and find another place outside Pakistan. So that's why I really hope that the authorities will take action as soon as possible for the sake of the people.
And there's also been a statement by the Tengku Puan Pahang, who is urging people to fight against bauxite pollution. But do the people really have the power to do something about this?
Yes, of course. In a democratic system, the people have the power. They have the power if they sit down together and unite and voice their concerns and do the right action based allowed by the legislation to voice their concerns and also push for solutions. Maybe the people have not really been aware of the extent of the problem.
Right.
And those who are aware of the problem should try their best. For example, like what has been done by the Geram movement and also PEKA, to get the people together and also try to get everybody else, not who are in the mining activity, to sit down and find the solution. Try to talk to the government at the state level especially to find the solutions.
Right. And for the people who are still in Kuantan at the moment, still affected, living in these affected areas of the bauxite mining, what are the precautions that they can maybe take just to protect themselves?
Okay, I understand that air pollution caused by bauxite is something which is very critical, which is dangerous. So I suggest that if possible, all of them wear masks when they go out, and also do not let their vehicles, for example, their cars, to be exposed to bauxite, because from what I know, this bauxite, if not cleaned as soon as possible, will stick to their cars for good. And also try to find ways on how to, at the household level, try to see whether there are any water filter system or apparatus which can be used at home to clean up the heavy metal. I am not sure about this. If there is any, or if there are any experts which can help them to solve the problem at this level, perhaps this knowledge should be spread to the people so that they will not be continuously affected by these toxic materials in their system.
Okay, and we're almost at the end of our segment for this morning, and before we finish, I just want to ask you, what actions do you hope to see from the authorities? What kind of actions can they take to curb this problem immediately?
Okay, firstly, the government should should take action in terms of cleaning up the area.
Yeah.
The water quality, and also especially the water supply to the people, and also to look for effective solutions to clean up the sea. That's the first thing that they should do. Secondly, there should be a discussion among the stakeholders, a quick discussion and effective process of consultation to find out what can be done in the future. Should we continue, or should we stop this permanently, or is there any time frame which can be given?
Right.
What is the plan after this to ensure that none of the problems that we are facing now will occur in the future? So the moratorium, 3 months, the 3-month moratorium should be reviewed again.
Okay, and be extended as well, maybe a few years also.
Yes, I agree with you.
Right. Okay, thank you so much, Amlir, for joining us this morning and talking about what's happening in Pahang at the moment. It was nice talking to you.